place on Earth where the average apartment costs more than $50,000 per square meter. A place where helicopters are as common as taxis, where yacht parties aren't just weekend events, they're Tuesday afternoons, and where one mysterious figure stands above them all. Welcome to Monaco, home to the most expensive real estate on the planet. But today, we're not here to talk about the countless billionaires who call this tiny principality home. We're here to uncover the truth about the man they call MONACO'S Zeus, the enigmatic figure whose net worth makes even Monaco's elite raise their eyebrows. In the next 15 minutes, you're going to discover how one man turned a $10,000 investment into a $17 billion empire, why he chose to build the world's most expensive private submarine, and the shocking reason he only wears watches worth more than most people's homes. But before we dive into this ocean of luxury, let me warn you, nothing could have prepared you for what we're about to reveal. The $10,000 gamble. The year was 1995. While the world was busy discovering the internet, a 22-year-old college dropout was sitting in a tiny apartment in London, staring at his last $10,000. His name? Marcus Zeus Stavros. But before I tell you how he turned that money into his first million, there's something you need to understand about the mind of a future titan. Most people would have played it safe, maybe invest in stocks, start a small business, or simply save it for a rainy day. But Zeus, he had spotted something nobody else had, a fatal flaw in the emerging digital payment systems. What happened next would change the course of financial history. With that $10,000, Zeus didn't just invest, he revolutionized. He created an algorithm that could predict payment processing delays with 99.9% accuracy. Within 6 months, major banks were begging to license his technology. But here's the twist. He refused every single offer. Why? Because Zeus understood something fundamental about wealth. True fortune doesn't come from selling your ideas. It comes from owning them. That decision would later prove to be worth billions. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. The Monaco move. By 2000, Zeus had turned his payment processing insight into a $100 million company. But while most successful entrepreneurs would have been content with that achievement, he was just getting started. What he did next left the business world speechless. In a move that many called insane, Zeus liquidated everything. Every asset, every share, every piece of his company. The total? $147 million in cash. But it's what he did with that money that truly sets this story apart. While everyone expected him to invest in Silicon Valley or Wall Street, Zeus had his sights set on something entirely different. He believed that the future of wealth wasn't in technology or finance. It was in scarcity. And what's more scarce than real estate in the world's smallest country after Vatican City? In what would later be known as the Monaco Mandate, Zeus spent every single penny buying up property in Monaco. But here's where it gets interesting. He wasn't buying luxury apartments or prime retail space. No, Zeus was investing in something far more valuable, parking spaces. Yes, you heard that right. Parking spaces. In a country where land is so scarce that they're literally building into the sea, Zeus had identified the one thing that would become more valuable than gold. Today, a single parking space in Monaco can sell for over $1 million. And guess who owns 70% of them? The submarine scandal. But owning most of Monaco's parking real estate was just the beginning. In 2010, Zeus shocked the world again with what many called his most outrageous purchase yet. But before I reveal what it was, you need to understand something crucial about the ultra-wealthy lifestyle in Monaco. When you're worth billions, privacy becomes more valuable than gold. And in a place as compact as Monaco, true privacy is almost impossible to find. Almost. That's when Zeus commissioned something that had never been attempted before. Project Neptune, the world's first luxury residential submarine. But this wasn't just any submarine. This was a $1.3 billion engineering marvel that would redefine what's possible in underwater living. Spanning 275 feet in length, with 9 decks and a depth capacity of 3,000 feet. Project Neptune wasn't just a vessel, it was a statement. complete with its own moon pool, underwater garden, and a transparent ballroom that offers 360-degree views of marine life. It remains the most expensive private submarine ever built. But here's where the story takes a dark turn. Shortly after Project Neptune's completion, rumors began circulating about its true purpose. Why would someone build a submarine with enough supplies to last 5 years underwater? And why did Zeus insist on installing a state-of-the-art quantum encryption system? The watch collection. While the world was still buzzing about Project Neptune, Zeus was quietly amassing what would become the most valuable watch collection in history. But there's a secret about this collection that nobody has ever revealed until now. Every single watch in Zeus's collection has something in common, something so specific that it's impossible to be coincidence. But before I tell you what it is, let me show you just 3 pieces from this legendary collection. First, there's the Patek Philippe Grandmaster Chime Reference 6300G, worth $31 million. Then the Rolex Paul Newman Daytona, that once belonged to a mysterious Saudi prince, $17.8 million. And finally, the piece that started it all, a seemingly modest Vacheron Constantin prototype that never went into production. But here's the mind-blowing detail that connects them all. Each watch was manufactured on a day when a major financial crisis began. The Patek created the day Lehman Brothers collapsed. The Rolex completed hours before Black Monday. The Vacheron Constantin finished just as the dot-com bubble burst. Is it possible that Zeus isn't just collecting watches? He's collecting moments in financial history? And more importantly, what does he know about the future that we don't? The invisible empire. While most billionaires flaunt their wealth through visible assets, Zeus has built something far more intriguing, an invisible empire. But to understand its true scale, we need to look at something that happened in 2015. That year, 17 seemingly unrelated companies across 12 different countries all changed their corporate structures on the exact same day. Nothing unusual except for one tiny detail that everyone missed. When you arrange these companies' new registration numbers in a specific order, they spell out a message in ancient Greek. The translation? Atlas holds not the world, but the shadows between stars. This cryptic message led financial analysts down a rabbit hole that revealed something astonishing. Zeus had created a network of companies so complex that it took AI algorithms 3 years just to map 10% of it. But why? The answer lies in his most recent acquisition, the digital kingdom. In 2020, while the world was focused on global events, Zeus quietly launched what he called Project Olympus. But unlike his previous ventures, this one was completely digital. Using a combination of blockchain technology and quantum computing, Zeus began creating what he calls digital real estate in the spaces between data. If that sounds confusing, wait until you hear what it's worth now. In just 3 years, this invisible digital empire has generated more revenue than Disney, Netflix, and Amazon combined. But here's the catch. Nobody knows exactly how it works. The only clue lies in a patent application filed in 2019, which contains a single sentence. The true value lies not in the data itself, but in the shadows it casts. The Monaco prophecy. But all of this pales in comparison to what Zeus is planning next. In 2024, he began acquiring something so specific, so precisely chosen, that it sent shockwaves through the global financial community. Every single one of his recent investments has been in companies whose names contain exactly 17 letters. When asked about this pattern, his only response was a quote from ancient Greek philosophy. In the 17th hour, the tide reveals its secrets. Financial experts are baffled. Mathematical analysts are working overtime. And the world's leading cryptographers are trying to decode what many believe could be the biggest financial move of the century. The legacy. As we conclude our journey through the world of Monaco Zeus, one question remains. What drives a man who has everything to keep pushing the boundaries of wealth and innovation? The answer might lie in something he once said during his only recorded interview. Luxury isn't about what you own. It's about owning what others can't even imagine. From that $10,000 gamble to his quantum encrypted submarine, from his prophetic watch collection to his invisible digital empire, Zeus hasn't just created wealth, he's redefined what wealth means in the modern age. But perhaps the most luxurious thing about Monaco's Zeus isn't his billions, his properties, or even his mysterious submarine. Perhaps it's the fact that in an age of social media and constant exposure, he's managed to build an empire while remaining almost completely unknown. As the sun sets over Monaco, one thing becomes clear. We may have uncovered some of Zeus's secrets, but the biggest mysteries about this modern-day Midas are still waiting to be revealed. And something tells me we won't have to wait long to see what he does next. If you want to discover more incredible stories about the world's most mysterious billionaires, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And let me know in the comments, what do you think Zeus is really planning with those 17-letter companies? Remember, in the world of Monaco's Zeus, nothing is quite what it seems, and everything has a hidden meaning. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.